Welcome to the Selectmen's Meeting for the Town of Acton, Maine for March 26, 2019. First item is salute the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Kim's not here tonight, so it's just Elise and I. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? For vote, all in favor? All opposed? Minutes of the last meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Okay, moved in, I'll second that. Further discussion? Nope, call for a vote, all in favor? All opposed?
David.
Department heads and committee chair updates.
So the rec committee is here tonight because you guys asked last week that we bring him in and have some additional information. Jonathan is the spokesman. Chris is at the, what do we call that?
Skills and drills?
Skills and Drills Baseball. So Jonathan is here on his behalf, so thank you for coming for such short notice. But this is just a continuation conversation. We need to figure out what we're going to do with the gym. We need to figure out if the rec is in some way going to start using that building across the street. We're in a standstill.
Right.
I did reach out to the fire chief. I do want to let you know that a couple of concerns that he has, just real quick, because he's not able to be here. He says that they use the building for training for gear storage, the equipment storage, classes, UTV, and trailer storage. He says that Rick's EMS office is also in there, where he does his billing and QI. He goes on to say that the building isn't even finished upstairs, would need a lot of work, and it would be pricey. It's also not handicap accessible, and would need code upgrades to be compliant. He does not recommend that you allow the rec to use it.
Yeah, that's the same recommendation he had before, but at some point, to me, it's an expensive building that should be utilized.
So Jonathan's here at your request to talk about what you want to do next.
Sure,
Yep.
sure.
Well, we've already heard from him. We know what he wants.
Yep, yep.
So where do you want to go from here, I guess, is the question to the board.
Well, one question we had was the gym,
Yes.
okay?
Responsibility of the gym.
Right, see if the rec was interested in basically taking that over.
Right.
Do you think that might be something that,
I can certainly bring it to the meeting tomorrow and see what they say. As I understand it, I mean, I don't know what state that building's in. I've only ever been in there. I've only ever been in there minorly to move storage about, so I've not really looked
Yeah.
at if it needs any work doing to it.
I think our thought would be is to maybe eventually move it out of there and move it over to the other building.
Right, well, I mean, it's hard to tell from looking at it from the outside of it how much room
Right.
is actually there for
Right.
what we physically be able to put in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I suppose I'll bring it to their attention tomorrow, and I'm sure there wouldn't be any reason why they wouldn't want to take it over.
So when you talk about the rec taking over the gym, I mean, so we're still going to have all of the requirements that Maine Municipal's putting
Right.
on there. I mean,
Right.
and I guess I'm just trying to figure out what that's going to solve. I mean, we're not going to, still not
It
going
would
to have
give
the
us give
security,
us some more people to,
more bodies to obtain.
handle
Okay.
what's gonna happen over there, I mean.
So
other
the
than that-
fees and everything would still have to be collected through our office.
That still has to go through your office anyway, because it's fee-based.
And no one's allowed in there under 18, so the rec,
Wasn't there some concern with there had to be some kind of induction program?
I have a list, yeah, there's a long list of.
Yeah,
Training.
maybe
Of
tomorrow
things.
or at some point, you can get the information from Jennifer.
Sure.
That Maine Municipal has put on us for it.
Yeah, and bring that to the
And
committee.
bring that to
meeting.
the committee, so you'd have that information,
Yep, no problem.
and see if that would be a
I guess the other.
ability.
The other idea too is, so we have two people right now that get a free membership for kind of pitching in and helping out. One of them does the cleaning, one of them does the overseeing. I've had a third gentleman come in. I mean, I guess I'm just trying to think of the pros of having the rec take it over. If they're, if we could also have put a gym board together and just have these three adults that are using it every single day anyways. Do you know what I mean? If you wanted to keep it open. But I think the biggest thing that I need to know from you guys is, are you going to move it over there, or are you going to leave it where it is, and shall we
Yeah, I
start
mean,
working
I have
on
to be
this?
honest, when you say extra bodies, I mean, we put the ice rink in, which was a rec thing.
Right.
It-
That's what I'm saying. There's no incentive for the rec to do
It
this.
really only fell down to a couple of people doing it anyway,
Right.
despite
Right.
there being 8 people on the committee. It's
Yeah.
just the way it works.
Yeah.
We may be better off with like a gym board or gym committee, if you will. And, the incentive for those 3 is that they would get the free membership and that they would, and they would oversee it based on all that. But before we move forward with that, do you want to keep it open? Do you want to give it to just fire and rescue? Do you want to?
I'd like to keep it open if we can. I mean, we have quite a list of people that do utilize it, so I'd just as soon not close it.
Yeah, is Rick's office, is there space in the regular station to have Rick's office to do his?
So if we left it open, though, would you leave it in the regular spot and then still let rec continue with the conversation of the building over there?
That might
'Cause
be a
they'd be
possibility.
they'd
I
be
mean,
unrelated.
In some ways, I'd like to see this building go away, because it's barely covering
money
its
pit?
costs,
Yeah,
so, and
So-
we can't really raise the price of the gym much more.
So then the question is, can we move it over there, create a gym committee to oversee it and let them have their incentive, but still have enough room for the rec
I
to do
wouldn't-
what they want to do over
I
there?
would, if we're gonna use the other building for the rec, I think that needs to stay just rec. So if a gym is gonna go over there, that's why I think it should be overseen by the rec.
Yeah, I just don't know if they
And
have the
maybe-
man,
but
I don't
maybe it
know if
could
they
be
have
a
the
committee
manpower.
I
within
mean,
the
we
rec.
could always try to form a subcommittee with the people that are already doing it anyway.
Right.
If it falls under rec auspices, but there's just a gym subcommittee that they deal with it. And, to get around, I'm not saying getting around the assurance issue, but if somebody has to be there to train them, they would seem to be the ideal
Right, and they don't have to be there all the time, it's just, yeah.
They can set an appointment to,
Right.
Right.
do an induction or something like that. And at least then if they're kind of authorized, we have that covered without increasing the costs.
Right.
Because
And that would be,
obviously it's
right, and that would be a
covered.
good idea, that's a subcommittee, that way.
Yep.
We'd have the trained people, and but it wouldn't put any extra bearings on your committee.
Yeah.
So what would be the next step in determining what that building would need? And what would you
The
do
other
with?
building,
Yeah, and what would you
would-
do with this building?
I'd take this one to the ground, really. I mean, it's not,
Back in.
yeah, it's not, like Dave says, it's, yeah,
My grandfather, fellow older folks here.
Yeah.
Forefathers built that for what we needed.
Yep.
Start a fire department.
yeah,
And you got,
Definitely parking.
yeah.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
It's just cinder blocks,
It's a
there's no
square- it's a
insulation.
square
I don't
box
know if
with a
there's
roof.
insulation above.
so at this point, I mean, we're going into, our Warren and Finance thinks that they're gonna have they're going to have a warrant next week. So if there is, if this is something that the board is looking forward to move forward with, we kind of needed to do it yesterday, because if we need to appropriate any money to bring that building up to code or figure out space-wise, I mean,
Yep.
I would recommend a meeting, at least with the board, and myself, we'll go over to that building almost immediately and see if we can
Yep.
do a walkthrough and get
They're
back to
gonna
the
know
rec.
tomorrow night, they're gonna have a meeting tomorrow night, the rec is, to see if they're even interested in the gym side of it.
Well, I think they will be if there's a subcommittee
think so.
that delegates that.
Yeah, I think that it's very little extra
Yeah.
work for us, just a case of, them
Yeah.
popping down to the meeting to fill us in on what's going on and keep,
Yeah,
Right.
it's pretty much their auspices.
yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
So, and like you say, do a walkthrough and see what needs to be done. Because really, if the fire department's using it for training and whatnot, it needs to be up to compliance.
It should be anyway,
It
is
should
what
be,
you're saying.
because you're bringing people in,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I mean, and we're never saying it's a rec building, we've always said it would be a community building anyway.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
true, yeah.
There'd be no reason why they couldn't continue to use it for the things. I think the
Right.
storage may be a bit more of an issue, but, if it's being heated just for storage, and honestly,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem a great use of funds.
Yep, yep, I agree, so.
So are you interested in doing a walkthrough with the selectmen?
Sure,
Maybe
I
later
can
this
do.
week, we can,
Yeah, it's probably better for Chris to do it, to be honest. He's the one
Okay.
with kind of trades.
Yep.
And I could look at it. It means nothing to me looking at it, but at least Chris has a better idea about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great way to start. So,
so I guess worst case is that if we move on this over the next couple of weeks, I mean, we can always add an article to the very end before Warren and Finance finishes the
Yeah.
warrant, so we can still turn it over, and if if you
that
decided
would be
to
a
add
good
something.
way to do it, too,
right.
is a separate article.
Oh, yeah, it would have to be
Yeah.
its own article.
Yeah.
So you'd be looking at one article for the demolition of that building, unless you wanted to wait until the following year to
I
do
would
that.
probably wait till the following year on that, because,
So just, X amount to whatever we need to get it
Yeah,
up
bring
to.
the other building up to code.
And we have to reach out to Maine Municipal, because they did have concerns about the trucks turning around and in a hurry to get out of that parking lot if there
But I
are kids
think
at the other
with-
building.
With his ideas of coming in off of Sanborn Road, we simply barricade off the other side with
Yeah, we,
a
our
fence
our
or,
plan was to completely fence the front of
whatever
that
it is,
building. so
something-
There wouldn't even be the temptation
Right.
for anybody blocking that.
yeah.
So
And that
what-
was our main concern.
What kind of time frame would it take to get numbers to do that kind of work?
To do that, just to fence it, or to do the whole parking lot
Well,
at
I
the
mean, to
back?
get, yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is that if they're looking to do this in the upcoming budget,
Yeah,
we need to get the numbers, we need
Sure.
a couple of excavate, we need some, maybe somebody, the current road commissioners can even give you a price,
Mm-hmm.
just to get an idea of what it might cost to get that, bring a road in,
Road
another
in from the other
driveway.
side. Dave, do you know where the septic system is for that other building?
Septic system on the south side.
You gotta come up if you're gonna speak, Dave,
Yeah,
sorry.
thanks.
I have a viewer that's messaging me,
I got a map there of it.
they can't hear.
Yep, they better help us out here.
Yes, so at the public safety building, the septic system is on the,
That's on the backside
On
of the
the
public safety
backside
building, but what
is-
about this building, the rescue building?
that's out on the backside where the propane, where we got that swale that goes through.
Okay.
That's where it is out on the
So in that
backside.
drawing that he's got there?
Yep.
Is there anything in that drawing that would hinder the septic, does it hinder the parking or anything?
Nope, the only thing that would cross in there is gonna be the water line, and
Okay.
we're probably 6 feet anyways.
Yep.
So, and we'd be building that up and everything
Okay.
there, so.
And the water for that building comes from the other building?
Comes from the
Yeah,
fire
that's why you
station.
just said
Yep,
water, so.
Yep, so.
And power is separate on that building? Does that come from the other building?
That,
You know,
yes,
if
I
we
think
have
it
a-
does.
I think it's the
Everything-
same-
Yes, it
I think
does.
it's the
Everything
same.
comes, the water and power are separated.
Okay.
But it comes through that same ditch. It comes off
Okay.
by the chief's office, by the radio tower, and then comes across over on the angle and comes
Okay.
in, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you see any reason why we couldn't put some sort of a fence across there and just,
No, the only thing we'd have to do is fence-wise, depending on what you guys would, whether it be, it doesn't matter, whatever we put in there, we just have to do a dig safe on it and,
Yep,
and,
okay.
and everything there, so, because we do have big power going into that building.
Right.
And I'm not sure, I don't know if, in the plans, if they should have put it in conduit, whether they did or not, I'm not sure. I mean, that was 22 years ago now, Robin, so, yeah.
Yeah, just something
so,
like that.
but, yeah, anything's possible.
Okay.
So, and on that there, so. Yep,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna stay here, because I got a question why the rec department's up here on,
Sure.
when
Sure.
we finish up with this here. so.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I
All right,
think.
just hang out for a couple minutes, Jonathan, and we'll,
All right, okay, well, if you're all set with that, while you're here, Jonathan, the reason why I'm asking is, this year we started plowing the rec center.
Yes.
And everything for the ice skating ring, and I was over that way checking some roads yesterday. It's rutted up. Do we wanna take an hour, and do you have somebody that volunteers their time to smooth up that parking lot? I'm not sure how this is all
no,
gone out.
I would say that you could do it for
Okay,
them.
all right, that's what I-
The
that way
rec
they
doesn't
would-
have anybody to,
Okay, so we'll just put it on our list of spring
Yep.
things,
Yeah,
when the
that'd be
snow
terrific.
goes, or what, because like you said, baseball signups are coming up, and they're gonna be using the field.
Very
and-
soon, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
And I noticed it was pretty bad
Yeah,
when I was up there
yeah,
last.
yeah, so we'll just coordinate between myself and the rec department and everything, and we'll make that work.
Great.
Okay, good,
Okay.
thanks.
We're going to drain the ice rink probably this coming week, but it will be drained towards the backside anyway.
Yep.
So that shouldn't affect any water coming down into the parking lot. So
where are you gonna store that?
we're probably going to store most of it actually in the shed there, because none of it can rot. It's all plastic. The plastic sheeting is going to be a more complex thing, because we want to try to dry it as much as possible so we don't get any mold and stuff growing in it. But we'll figure something out with that.
Okay. Great,
Okay, well done.
great, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Dennis, did you have anything rec-related before Jonathan leaves?
Yes. I've been following this right along with the rec. I've been going to all their meetings, and I took it upon myself to talk to Kenny about the building. Obviously, he was code enforcement when it was put in, and there is no safety concerns. That building is up to code. The upstairs, when the people, my understanding was when they built the building, they needed to save a little bit of money. So what you could use the upstairs for is limited. But I'm sure that can be corrected. And the intention that I've taken from Chris and John and whatever, it isn't that this building isn't going to cost the taxpayers any money at all, because you know it's going to. But it is the intention of the rec committee to do as the ambulance association did. That building was built without taxpayers' money.
Right.
And it is the long-term plan of the rec committee to do fundraisers and get people to, like David can come down and dig out where the driveway's going, to get volunteers and donations. So there's not, my impression is there's not gonna be a big push to ask the taxpayers for a lot of money. They're gonna try to do it themselves and bring the whole community into it. And as far as the space over there that's being used for somebody's office or something, we just changed a storage closet downstairs for somebody's office, so I'm sure we can make it work out somehow, one way or the other.
So,
And if they can't, I'll be willing to donate the lumber to put a 8x10 office addition on the fire station so they get a place to work. Okay?
okay, thanks. Okay, anything else on that? You got anything else on that?
No.
No? Okay, anything else? No? Okay, great. Okay. Let's go on to old business. 1920 proposed budget.
So I just thought that since the meeting was public from the 16th, some of you were at, and that we had the Warren and Finance meeting, I just wanted to go on the record of going over the cuts that after the Selectmen and the Warren and Finance met on the 16th, the Board of Selectmen took another look at the budget, knowing that they were looking at a 13 to 30 cents tax increase with 400,000 being moved forward. They took it upon themselves to make some decreases. I did notify the departments, so this shouldn't be a surprise. The biggest cuts really came from the fire department. Because the fire chief has publicly said that he is not looking for a reappointment from the town of Acton, there were some areas that the board felt like they could cut. First of all was in his salary line. They're not going to need the 3%, and they're looking to start the position down closer to 60,000 rather than where it's at. The office supplies, training lines, medical equipment, computer lines, vehicle repair, they flatlined all of those. All of those lines, when originally submitted from the fire chief, were increased by $1,000, $2,000. The board took a look at all of the accounts and what the current balance of all of those accounts were, and really couldn't see a reason that they needed to be increased, that they could flatline for 1 year. They also thought that, not knowing what direction they're gonna go in with the fire chief, full-time, part-time, there might be some extra room in that salary line as well. So they're confident with the treasurer's support that that's gonna be fine. The capital improvement from the fire trucks, they also decreased that by another $10,000. They did remove the gravel processing from the road budgets, which was $24,500. They flatlined one of the social services called Blimp, looked for a $500 increase, so they flatlined that. They also removed another $958 from the New Hampshire visiting nurse. They felt like since Maine visiting nurse got $1,000, that would be the same for them. They decreased the bridges and culverts from $50,000 to $25,000. And the dams, they decreased from $20,000 to $10,000. They believe that it's going to take some time and engineering work, and we need to put a plan in place. And if any of these bridges or Hopper Road needs to be completely done from scratch to finish, from start to finish, $25,000 isn't going to make a difference. You're going to have to find that money through some sort of, tax anticipation note or a bond or a loan or anyway. So, with that said, they cut $93,751 out of the budget, which, according to the treasurer, will now give us a flatline budget where the taxes won't need to go up if everything's approved as it is. And there's still chances of some cuts, but that's what the board took out. So those were the reductions.
Our goal was, almost $100,000. And
Yes.
this is how, we came pretty close to it, so. Yep,
Did good.
okay, we tried. I mean, the meeting that we had with all the department heads and the warrant finance, I mean, we heard from that, which is pretty normal, that you don't want increases, which It's what you strive for. Not always attainable, but that's what you strive for. So, anyway, okay.
The next couple of items that are on the agenda came from the Warren and Finance meeting that we had on the 16th. Some of the items that came up in conversation, I said that I would put on the agenda so that you guys could discuss. The first one is APAT funds. What we know or what happened a couple of years ago was that any APAT funds that are not spent, so we get a check from Atlantic Broadband for, let's say, $50,000. If the budget is $43,000, that difference of $7,000, about 2 years ago, the selectmen changed it so that it is a revenue, it's a town revenue, and it's used to offset taxes. There was some discussion at the meeting that that $7,000 instead should go into some type of carry-forward reserve fund earmarked for APAT, since that $50,000 comes from the subscriptions that everybody that has Atlantic Broadband. I did get an email from Arnold Murray, who wanted to share his concerns with you. Essentially, you know, he says, I think kind of what I had mentioned on that Saturday meeting, is that if you have Atlantic Broadband and you're paying a subscription fee to see Channel 26, okay, so let's say this side of the room has Atlantic Broadband, they're all paying that fee, okay, so they're the only ones that can watch Channel 26, which sounds like it should be appropriate because you're the only ones paying the fee. However, because we put everything on YouTube, this side can watch everything that's going on, but only this side is paying for it. So Arnold's concern was that if he has to pay for it, you know, he really should be the one that can view it. That was one of the reasons why a few years back we took their extra money, if you will, and offset their taxes with it, because they were seeing YouTube as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that was kind of what the board was thinking then. I talked to the treasurer. She doesn't have any, $7,000 in revenues isn't going to make a difference in the tax rate one way or the other. We don't want to give APAT just free money to spend if they can say, you know, if they can have a lower budget, but
Right.
I know that some of the Warren Finance Committee members had opinions as well.
And the other thing is, I mean, there's a lot of people that are in Acton in the summertime that pay Atlantic Broadband during the summertime. I think they have a plan where you can go on suspension for the winters, you pay a minimal fee. And those people do watch the meetings and whatnot on YouTube, you know, and they are paying for it in the summertime.
So what about all the
Oh.
people that don't have cable and are able to watch it? What do we tell them?
Well, the flip side would be is to cut APAT's budget in half as far as what we charge the people, as far as what comes out of Atlantic Broadband, and make up the other half out of tax dollars,
Yeah, that's good.
which I don't think is such a great idea, but that would be in essence what you'd have to do.
He
Oh.
did go on to say, so at the present, I found the email, I pay over $60 franchise fee per year, for what people can get for free. So that's, I forwarded it to you guys, but that's the whole email, so.
So-
And you don't have to make a decision tonight, I mean, it's not, you know, but it's something, I don't know if Warren and Finance, anybody here wants to speak on it.
Come right up.
Probably double-edged sword. I pay for Atlantic Broadband, but only to get on the internet. I don't pay for the television service, but I still have to pay that finance fee. Where does that leave me? If it's not on YouTube,
You probably don't
I
have.
don't see it.
Yeah, you,
I get feed.
is it,
You don't pay you pay the same fee as
I
cable?
pay the same fee.
you
I'd
pay
have to
the,
look into that.
the 4.5%
Yep.
towards, okay,
It marks it right on that little
yeah.
quill line.
Then in that case,
That is
everybody
true.
that's going online.
Well, that makes sense.
through-
I mean, that's a
through
perfect
Atlantic
answer. I
Broadband is,
didn't-
in fact, paying their fee to
Because
get on.
I looked at it twice, and I'm always
Yep.
checking my bill, because
Yep.
anything I can save, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yep.
I have a different network for my television,
Right.
but in order
Yep.
to get on the internet, I have Atlantic Broadband.
That's what I have as
So
well.
really, the only people getting around it would be somebody that had an internet provider outside of
Outside of
internet.
Atlantic Broadband.
Exactly.
Which is really what you
Which
have in this
probably
area.
maybe 10% of us in town,
If that.
if that.
So, yeah,
So I'll
I-
confirm
The
the
lucky
4.5%.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
sitting here listening to y'all, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've got
Yeah.
an issue with that, because that's
Yeah.
what we all
I'll have to
have.
look at my bill too, so, yeah, okay,
Thanks.
thanks.
So do you have thoughts on the whole difference of the money? I mean, for the few people, it does kind of offset that.
Yeah, I see it, I don't see it as a huge issue. I mean, it's, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't see needing to change it. The only thing we might want to do is look at the money that we do take and put into the general fund from him and maybe set up a contingency fund for equipment or something like that, but not using all of it. But just a thought,
Yeah.
so.
Cable, all right, I'm just gonna confirm the cable.
And it was mentioned that they'd like to see APAT more in the community, but APAT doesn't know what's going on unless you ask them to come and tape your soccer game, baseball game, library event, cemetery cleanup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta talk in the microphone, I'm getting yelled at via messenger from people trying to watch it, please.
I've actually had them go to all the historical stuff. I've actually had them go to even into Shapley.
Yep.
To check out stuff in the Grange buildings and stuff like that. I've invited them every place. Virginia has been very good about going. Whether y'all hear us or not, I don't know, but she tries to get in everything and everyone. Matter of fact, one day they were refixing, the Historical Society's refixing the Grange in Shapley. She was invited. We all froze our tatas off, but we went over, and she stayed the whole time. We bundled up like there was no tomorrow, and she watched everything. So that I do ask. I make sure that, especially on my end, I make sure you all see it. Whether how often it comes out on TV, I don't know. But I do ask her, just to let y'all know, because I actually check with Jen, and Jen says, as long as it's in town, has to do with people in town, why not?
I know the fire department hosts a few events sometimes. They could go down for that as well.
I think if you call them, they're pretty good about it.
Yeah, you call
Oh,
them. Yep, they can be out there for you.
Yep, okay,
All right, so we're leaving APAT alone, is that what I'm telling the treasurer?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay, forester stipend.
So, Warren and Finance, didn't decide yet. They're gonna decide, I think, at their upcoming meeting on their next meeting next Monday, as I understood it, who they wanna see and what they wanna go over. I know that the forester stipend was part of the discussion on the 16th, so I'd like to just table that piece, so that I can have a selectman and the forester present, to answer their questions. So we can kinda move that one aside for now.
Okay, school pit?
That came up on the 16th. I don't know much about it. That's not my, but wasn't there some discussion about closing it?
Oh, the gravel pit.
Oh, yeah. I just took notes on what I was supposed to do. Write down.
My statement was, basically, this thing is unsafe for habitation of children. And where the road department on both ends of town was the ones that opened this up and made the mess down there, that I thought that the money should come from the road budget to close it back up and make it safe for the children again. And that was my whole, they've encroached really too far to the wetlands. When we did that originally, we went as far as DEP would let us, and it just shouldn't be on school property. You're running heavy equipment while school's in session. None of this equipment is inspected through MSHA to make sure they're all safe. And you know what I'm talking about when I talk about that stuff, Ed. And I just don't think it's a good idea, and I think it should be closed up, and I'm the one that brought it up.
Yeah, okay. I don't think we've had
Is there a
any,
gate to just close the gate, or?
There's a chain that goes across the, but they're driving by where the playground is. They're
So
driving,
who's using this gravel
yeah,
pit?
when was the last time anything was actually hauled out of there?
this summer,
Was it?
yep, yep.
So is there a lot of material in there? It's all town material.
It all belongs to the school department,
Oh, the material belongs to the school.
yes.
Have you talked to the superintendent at all about
Yeah,
this?
I talked to the superintendent. We
What
talked.
were his, do they?
He agreed that it should be closed up. He didn't know why it was out there, being he hasn't been here. And I explained to him how we got to where we got, moving the playground out back from when it was out next to the road and the whole process. And it's supposed to be for parking out there, so when people come to the games, they can drive out there. And the only time it would be gated was when school wasn't in session. You know what I mean?
So if it's all right with the board, I'll confirm with the superintendent, and we can have the road commissioner on that side, take a look at it and figure out what,
Yep, what our next move would be.
okay.
I will say that Andy Brazier, at our budget workshop we had with the school, said he had talked to Joe Letourneau, and
Okay.
Joe would look at it this spring. And my statement is, I don't believe it's really up to the road commissioner to make a decision on this. I don't think that I thought they were wrong when they did it. I think it's a safety issue, and I think as selectmen, between the selectmen and the school committee, that you need to work together to get this safety hazard closed up.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. I think what we need to do is just wait till snow goes.
Okay.
Wait, come May, have a workshop with the select board, the school committee, superintendent, with Andy, see where it is. One thing you need to remember, that's part of the watershed. So if we're gonna start closing something down, DEP's gonna have to come in, they're gonna have to they will write a plan out how this needs to be. So we don't wanna turn around in a couple of years, have an issue,
Right.
and it wasn't capped accordingly to DEP regulations, so we need to keep that in
There may
mind.
already be a plan on
It could be,
for that,
or
because if
we
you're
may
gonna
have
open
to.
it, there should be a closure plan, so.
True. But it's been so long, sometimes those plans are only so good for so long in the watershed. And so we may have to, like you said, another year, leave it alone, leave it dormant, and
Yeah,
then
it's gonna
have to
take-
start
it's gonna take
finding
some time
funds
to-
and everything. It isn't just go down, throw some seed and hay
Yeah.
down, so.
In the
but-
meantime,
But we
we-
don't know. We don't know until we go down, somebody goes down, take a look. But just throwing that out, that needs to be a little bit of legwork with a workshop, so.
Okay.
If I may, there was a plan with the DEP
Okay,
to close that. And when we did that project, we closed the whole thing under the guidelines of the DEP.
okay,
Gordon King was a big part of doing that, and had all the proper slopes and all this stuff, and it was all closed up properly, so the school should have that plan.
okay.
I don't know if you need a new plan, where they open
Probably
it
get
back
it
up or not, I got no
Have it
idea.
looked at again by DEP, just to,
But it's not safe for the children,
yeah. No,
plain and simple.
okay. Thanks, Dennis. Okay, Warren Finance meeting recap.
I just wanted to point out to the board, some of the things that we heard last night that, that they'd like you to consider. One of them is, the fire truck capital account, reserve account there. And these are not items that weren't voted on. They didn't take any action last night. These are just individuals that mentioned it, so I promised to pass it on to you.
Sure.
They would like to see that account zeroed out. They would also, one or two of them mentioned the paving account should possibly be increased. And then, there was also, I think, which we heard on the 16th, the possibility of the cemetery being increased. So those were the three things that I heard last night that,
Okay.
they wanted to share.
Very good. Okay, anything else on that? You got anything else you want to add?
No, I just, for clarification, what's the next step on the school pit? We're waiting till May?
I believe I am gonna check with the superintendent to make sure he agrees to close
Oh,
it,
okay.
schedule a meeting with Andy, and double check on the DEP
Okay.
plan.
Yep, sounds good. Okay. EMA Director 911. We're still looking for an EMA Director, and we're working to see if 911 can be taken over downstairs.
That was advertised, right?
No,
Oh, no,
not
we-
yet.
Yeah,
Because
we
I
went-
don't have an approved job description.
Okay. I've read through them and determined that the person who's EMA director seems to be underpaid with all the training they have to go through and not the meetings they have to attend. But we were waiting to see if downstairs was taking over 911 first, too.
Right, which it sounds like, I just got a message from him, it sounds like they'll be able to.
Yep.
They're gonna need that training money, but it sounds like they may be able to. We're gonna talk about it more tomorrow, so.
Okay. Good. Okay, anything else on that? Nope. District 1 equipment, we're still waiting for that to come back as soon as the snow's gone. Get the rest of that off. Fitness center, we kind of talked about that already. Anything else you got on that?
Nope.
Okay. Row bridge damage,
So, I told you last week that Maine Municipal said that they, do not cover bridges and roads, those type of damages, but as our insurance carrier, as soon as work is done and we've paid it out, they will go after the individuals. There was, some additional concerns last night as well regarding the barriers, that are not in place yet.
Right.
I did speak to Mr. Letourneau today. He made some adjustments to what was there so that the reflectors were pointing in the right direction, but said that he had not, he was waiting for Pepin
Okay.
in regards to the Jersey barriers.
How long does it take?
Don't know. So, don't know. I do know that I'm gonna pass on to him that the Maine Turnpike Authority has a bunch of barriers for sale, quite cheap, they use.
Exactly,
And we're
and,
gonna-
you know, I mean, it's been, I think Joe was here, what,
Been 3
4
weeks.
weeks ago?
3 weeks.
3 weeks ago, and, you know, made mention of,
Yeah.
you know, just procuring some Jersey barriers. They're still not up.
Yep.
Nothing has been done down there as far as putting up anything other than a portable, you know, hazard. It's not a safe situation down there by any means, especially when you got people hot-footing it down toward New Hampshire, you know, and have to go around that sharp right-hand corner. Jersey barriers are not that damn expensive, and you can buy them, you can rent them. 3 weeks, I think, is more than enough time to get some Jersey barriers out there.
We'll pass it on. So,
So, I mean, with the town of Acton decided to stay elected, are we encouraging them to call the road commissioner
I
directly?
would say, yeah, call the road commissioner. Yeah, I mean, we call
I
them
don't-
and we tell them, but the people need to be telling them as well, so. Yep, we're not necessarily the go-between, we're kind of the end. So, he's taking over, he's finishing out an elected position, so, okay,
Point.
Woodbridge. We will push him a little more and see,
Could,
so,
could we find out how to get the $25 ones?
yeah,
I'm gonna send him a,
yeah. I mean, it popped up on my Facebook, so, there's a bunch of used ones. I don't know whether they still have them or not, but,
Wonder if
We'll
they
look
keep
into
them
it.
in North Berwick.
yeah, it'd be worth having some anyway for that price, so.
Yeah.
so you want the town to buy some for just, I guess some, so you want us to have some just to,
I think we ought to have some just
For
kicking,
situations like this.
yeah, they're not a bad
so
thing
is
to
that
have
something
sitting
that?
around.
I mean, you want me to call and order and look into, or are you
Sure.
asking the road
Well, I mean,
commissioners?
the road commissioners should be able to handle
What
it,
do you think?
yeah. Dave, what's your opinion,
I
Dave?
thought we had some down at the sand salt
I
shed.
think there's one of the Sanders sitting on it right now.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, we do have
We
two
only
of them
got a
down there,
couple.
and the sander from the South District
Yeah.
is sitting on those. I have seen them. There are some good ones, and there's some poor ones.
Right.
One thing you need to remember in this day and age is liability. We have to have good ones. The situation down there, if it was on my end of town, I'd just either, as Mr. Waterhouse said, either rent them or buy them. One
Yeah.
thing you need to remember is liability. Everything in this world is around liability. So if you put a Jersey barrier down there that isn't up to the standards it should be, and we have another incident, then we have a liability thing. That's one of the things. But saying that also, Jennifer, if you could call the Turnpike Authority and ask, they may be all gone. But it wouldn't, for $25 a piece, we're gonna have to pay for trucking. But it'd be nice to have a half a
100.
dozen or a dozen of them or so, just as you said, if we have another incident or we have a washout, we have to
You
do
do something you
something.
can grab right here.
Exactly, we have something quick and everything, those don't, that
It beats
sale
a-
does not come along too
Beats a
often.
sawhorse.
Yes,
So,
and everything, so.
Can you look into that tomorrow?
Yeah, I can,
Okay.
I can call
Yeah, if you
call
would.
Turnpike Authority and call Peter
Yep.
and see,
Yep.
and we'll go from there, so. I'll do that for Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank
You'll
you.
do that for Jennifer?
You're doing it for the town of Acton, so,
Thanks for doing the elected road commissioner's
Yeah.
job. Thank you for
Yeah.
doing that for Jennifer.
yeah. Okay. Okay, 7th Street? That's
I'm sorry, what?
7th Street?
Another road issue?
Yeah, another road issue?
Need to reach out to Mark. I just sent him an email reminding him that I'm looking for the engineering report, and I need to hear from the road commissioner on that side as well. The attorneys seem to have worked out a little bit of a wording discrepancy on the easement, but it looks like it'll be on the June town warrant.
Okay, good. Bonding policy.
So last week, when Michelle was here,
Yep.
she talked about the bonding policy. Elise had a couple of changes, so I just have one for you to sign. Usually I'm more organized, not tonight. Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. That's it, okay. So, this something you're looking to get signed for tonight, or?
It sounded like you guys were willing to sign it last week, other than the typo.
Yeah.
It essentially just, protects the town of Acton by bonding all employees, that handle money, other than just the town clerk, tax collector, and treasurer. And it enforces, no cash in areas like, downstairs, and just to make it cleaner for,
No, yeah, and it was just simply a typo. The word is in place of it, the word performance spelled out correctly, and, yeah, okay. Okay.
Make a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to sign and accept the bond policy for the town of Acton.
Acceptance of payment policy. Is that the same as a bond policy?
I'm sorry?
Acceptance of payment policy?
That's the same.
Okay.
Yep.
You want to reword that?
I'll make a motion to sign the acceptance of payments policy.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll second it. Any further discussion?
Nope.
No? Okay. Call for a vote. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. New business, draft warrant.
Ta-da!
Yay,
Yay!
some reading material.
New draft warrant.
So we plead with you to go over it word by word. Michelle and I look at this in our sleep sometimes, so it's very common to find something that we may overlook. Hopefully, my dear friend Paul Point will take a look at it when we're all done, because he is just excellent at that.
Yep.
Right there, I can tell you, June 11th.
I was just
typo in
gonna
the
look it
first
up.
paragraph. I already
I was
found it.
just looking
It's
at
like
my
finding
calendar.
Waldo.
I found it first.
I did. Saturday, 20. A lot of that's copy and pasted from last year. Some of them are housekeeping warrants, but that's why we proof it. Warren and Finance is meeting on next Monday, so if possibly, I could get an okay from you by Thursday or Friday-ish.
The Saturday date down below is also.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so is the time.
Already
Oh, you got them both?
That's why we don't release it, yep.
Okay,
At 8 a.m.
Yep.
okay. Nope.
Which didn't sound bad until I talked to my election clerk today, and we have to be there an hour early. And I thought, who did that?
You did it.
No,
You'll be
Michelle
happy
did that,
when we're
Okay.
done
technically.
at 12.
Okay.
Don't be blaming me, I get
Put on
enough,
Michelle.
I get enough here.
So, okay, we'll look this over. Very good. MV audit, I assume that's motor vehicle audit?
Motor vehicle audit, yes. We had Judy from Motor Vehicles came down today in Augusta and did a full audit of the town of Acton. She was, said that she was quite impressed with our policies, procedures, and inventory and everything, how we handled things. There were a couple of minor things, so when at the end of the week, we sort our report in a way in which motor vehicle likes to receive it in the cash report. She had a couple of minor changes on how she wanted a couple of the registrations sorted. And she says that our license plates, brace yourself, need to be in a fireproof container. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
So they're in the closet in my office, and she was happy with, who has access to it and all that, and, but she says that she's going to write it up
What?
for.
Are you kidding?
So,
You have that many license plates?
well, first of all, so I had one of my assistants today just give me some random numbers on fireproof. So we
Wow.
have one fireproof filing cabinet in that closet now.
Yeah.
It's where my personnel files are, my drug testing. Even if I cleaned out the bottom two drawers to put the plates in there, if I could get them all to fit, the problem is then I have to be able to give access to that to other staff members. And drug testing personnel, we don't want to be able to, we don't want that.
Are these the smallest?
Well,
Out
there's, I
there?
mean, we have almost 20 different plates now.
Oh,
So I'm gonna keep shopping, I'm just,
Yeah.
you don't wanna know what those prices are.
Silly as it as silly as it sounds, what about a gun safe? Fireproof gun safe,
Yeah, as long as it's,
something like that?
yeah,
Yeah. So,
to build shelves inside it, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it the way they are, but
Yeah.
I don't like to be written up, that's not something that.
yeah, yeah. Last I knew, a license plate was made of metal and,
You don't argue
Yeah.
with BMV when they come
Yeah,
down. So
no,
anyways, that was the only thing that
they
she
gotta find
found.
something,
But she
so.
was, it
Yep.
was nice that, to have them come down and go through
yeah.
everything and,
and she didn't do it last year.
no.
So having a new person, she showed you a couple of new things. than the last person?
I wouldn't say she showed us anything. Well, she did, she showed us how she wanted us to fix the cash receipting
Yeah.
Yeah.
reports. And just so we're clear, it's not a cash receipting issue. It's at the end of the week, when we close out motor vehicles of all the transactions that happen for the week, we have, passenger plates, motorcycle, commercial, trailer, blah, blah, blah. They've always been sorted alphabetically, and you mail them in with your cash report, but they don't want them alphabetical anymore. They want them per class code with vanity on top. I won't bore you with the details, but it's not a cash issue.
Yeah,
But it goes with your cash report, that's why we reference it
Yep.
like that.
okay.
But-
Okay, order.
Order.
Order. Exactly.
Do you know what kind of order that is? I'm just not feeling as organized as I usually am. It's just not like me. It's not a court order. What else you got? This is an order for the election.
Election.
Ballot?
You can explain it while I find it, because I know.
Didn't know this was a quiz.
Well, no.
No, so we're in the middle of drafting a road committee ordinance and a
Thank you.
road commissioner ordinance. And it will be placed on the June 18th ballot, so it'll be secret ballot. So we're just right now creating the order to place them on the ballot, and so that it, meets the timing requirements. We'll hold a public hearing on April 22nd to discuss in public the writing, the draft of the ordinances.
Perfect. So Maine law says that if the selectmen want to enforce the clerk to put something on a secret ballot other than statutory, they have to sign an order 45 days before the election. So this is an order instructing the clerk to put the questions on, and he'll read it, so. Good job, Elise.
I'm impressed. That's great. Okay, voted. It is hereby ordered that the following questions set forth below be placed on the referendum ballot for the election to be held June 18th, 2019, and that the attested copy of this order is placed on file with the town clerk of Acton, Maine. Question 1, and these are going to be a generic, not a generic, these are going to be the titles of the orders, of the questions. So question 1, shall an ordinance entitled Road Committee Ordinance be enacted? Question 2, shall an ordinance entitled Road Commissioner Ordinance be enacted? Okay,
I'll make a motion to sign the order.
okay, I'll second it. Any further discussion?
No.
No? All in favor? All opposed?
And we do plan to let people read the ordinances. We'd like to sit with the road commissioners to have their input as well on the road committee.
committee.
So it's not just us. We're looking for,
This is just fulfilling the time frame.
yep. Not done. We're in draft stages. We will
Really close
involve
with them, so.
the important people that need to be involved.
Back. Okay. Road Committee Ordinance, we've kind of discussed some of that, unless you
Yeah.
want to go into any more depth on it, but. Oh.
I have drafts, I don't know. So this is
we
the
go.
road committee. This is the, ooh. One's more important than the
Yep.
other.
Yep.
Get one of them done tonight.
Yep.
It's a draft.
So, yep, this is the draft version, so Road Committee can look this over.
Well, everybody,
Or-
it's,
Yeah. Give us your input back on it, so. Okay. Public comment.
We did.
We did.
Glad you're okay.
I'm back and I'm doing okay. I don't know if y'all have seen this or not. This actually comes from Southern Maine Veterans Association. Mr. Reed actually sent this over to me through email. You have to go through it. It's a form of a matching fund that they're looking for. If they can get, I think it's $4,500 matching funds, whether it's from the town or from individuals, there's another association that will actually match that. And the piece that they're looking at putting up is on the back side of that. It's, they're gonna put up a new monument for those that are lacking in Springville. It's something we can do individually. I thought maybe we could also do it as a town. If we could actually get their money, if we raise their money through the election, they have until the 31st of July to match the funds. I don't know if that's something we can do for them to help them out, or if that's just a
I don't think we can put anything else on.
pea in the wind, I don't know. It's just something I thought would be nice, because, you know, matching funds is matching funds, and especially anybody who works with cemeteries and anything like that, it's a great idea. And when he actually forwarded that to me, I thought, wow, it's something I should share. I put one out in the hall, because any individual can do it. It doesn't have to be a town. But I thought maybe we could help out, you know, if it's gonna help, it's gonna help. If it ain't, it leaves his address to contact him, it leaves whatever you need for information. I just figured I'd share it with you guys. I'm not sure how much gets
Are
shared.
you
this
suggesting we
direction.
put it on the warrant, or what do you, I
Well, what do you think is best? What do you guys think is best? I mean, my thing is,
think our warrant's already been, well, pretty much been put together. This would be another social service or a donation.
I mean, even if it's just $1,000 and he can get it to him, and he can add it to the 4,000 or
Well,
whatever, or 500, it's a
Well, they're
matching
not
fund type of
asking
deal.
Acton for this total, they're
No, no,
this is
no.
in
That's-
general.
That's in general.
Yeah.
He's looking for the community to give, like, our community, whether it's an individual community or our community, $4,500.
We
By
already-
July 31st, if they can find that much money, another entity is going to match them another $4,500.
Right.
And I don't know when we cut our checks or how we cut our checks, when we
It's
do
done twice a year, so,
that.
yeah.
I didn't know if we could bypass that and actually help them, or it would be help. You know, if it's gonna help them, I'd rather see it
What
help
do we
them.
have? We already have money we do the Veteran Cemetery for, correct?
Yeah,
Yes,
1,000.
for the beautification
Yeah.
of the.
Right.
Right.
Right, but that wouldn't be,
So-
that's two different things. This is
Right.
not for the beautification.
But this is still for the Veteran Cemetery, so, yeah. I would say individually would be our best bet, because I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm just giving
could
it to
certainly
you for food for
advertise it.
thought.
Yeah.
I've got one out in the hall.
Yeah.
I didn't know, you know, where we were at. I just didn't know if, as a township, we can help quicker by matching, you know, getting the matching funds.
I don't see where we have any money sitting there to do that.
I don't know, I
with.
mean, not without
I don't know.
voter.
No,
Right, no,
voter
without voter
approval.
approval.
I just figured I let y'all look at it. This is something that was sent to me, and it's, like I said, it's not just for towns, it's for individuals too. Whether it's $20 and they can get the $4,500, or somebody who's kind enough to pass it out, but
Yep.
something to think about, something to pass on.
Okay.
Glad you guys missed me. Sorry about you feeling ill too.
Yeah, well,
Been there, done that.
bad February.
Thank you.
Hello. Earth Day is coming up at the end of April, and a few of the people in town are trying to organize a cleanup day for April 27th, which is a Saturday, and I'm here to see if the people collect a lot of different trash. Could whatever they bring be accepted, even if it were tires or whatever?
They accept tires in May, right?
They do. I think what we did once before with a cleanup day is, didn't the road commissioners at one point go around and,
Pick up the bags.
Yeah,
that
and
were
I'm
left.
not sure that Susan's asking for help with that, because I think that there was a couple of
Right.
people that donated trucks. Tires would probably be the only item that they don't take this time of year, and it would just be a matter of asking Bob. I mean, if they take them in May, I can't imagine he wouldn't take them a week early for a
Right.
cause like this,
Right.
but we
Even 3
could
days
ask.
early.
So that's what I'm here for, is just to,
Do you want me to
if you
check with
guys
check with
could
Bob and
ask
say, yeah.
Bob, and,
yeah. Yep,
because that would be a pain in the neck to have
that's
to
right.
hold it for a week.
Especially because we're only talking a few days.
Right,
So.
you know, so, and then obviously as we get closer, if you could also announce it too.
Have you created any flyers or anything? We can get them up on cable on the website or whatever you guys do.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll make up some stuff, yeah.
It's on a Saturday. Are you starting at a specific time or location?
Well, I think they're trying to work out all the
Oh,
details.
okay.
Probably, it would have to be a place that could handle a lot of vehicles. So I was thinking the school, maybe, I have no idea. So that's another thing that would have to probably be approved by you guys.
And I think the only thing, not to interrupt you, Susan, the only other thing that has come up is, this is a volunteer at your own risk town-wide gathering. This is not a town event, because if we make it a
Correct.
town event,
Right.
then the town's liability insurance becomes involved. So we're looking for volunteers to do this on their behalf as an organization, as a town, do you know what I mean? There's a blurb.
So does that mean we can't meet on
Nope,
town property?
Nope, not, absolutely not. You can certainly meet, it's all, you don't have to get selectmen permission to meet on town property.
All right,
Just like when, when the Girl Scouts go, or people go get signatures, that's town property. You have the right to do that, as long as you're not violating election laws or something else. You don't
Right.
have to get their permission. There's just a little blurb that we'll want to put on the bottom, just so people understand that they're doing it at their own risk. It's not
On
a
the
town.
flyer?
Right, on the
Okay.
flyer. I'll get
All
that
right.
for you.
And then all we're asking for is that Saturday, that Bob would, or the transfer station would take whatever trash we bring in, which would probably be a few tires. Oh, when's the town book ready?
The what?
The annual book?
Oh.
It is actually, we're hoping to give it the final okay tomorrow. They had made a bit of a mistake with the audit report. They inserted it in between the warrants, but we're working that out and hopefully to give it the okay tomorrow.
Okay, great, thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. Sir? Anyone else? Seeing no one? Oh,
Ow. Seeing no one? Put your glasses on, big boy. Oh. Quick question concerning the proposed ordinance that you have given us a rough draft of. If this ordinance is passed by the ballot, that's going to circumsede the creation of the road committee back in, what year was it, Jennifer?
Yes. Yes, anytime you create an ordinance with the same name, it will
But we didn't
replace all.
have, but that wasn't an ordinance back in, what was it, 2000?
Well, it's, in
It created-
2006, when they
it
last
created a
updated
committee.
it. It
It
created.
did not create an ordinance.
We'll make sure that there's a clause on there that says that it supersedes any and all other, we'll put that language on the bottom.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
I'm done.
thanks for picking up on that. Anyone else, public comment? Okay, announcements. Sir?
Not anticipating that this ordinance isn't going to pass, because I think it certainly will. However, if it does not pass, then we drop back to the warrant article that was in 2006 that was approved by the town, which does not give the road committee any duties.
That's right.
So, just a reminder.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Announcements, meetings are on the website. Baseball sign-up is due on the 28th. And this Friday night, Caring for the Cash-ins, Bean Supper, right here, 4 to 7 o'clock. Do you need any more help for that? Should we, anybody else?
I think I'm looking for one server, if I
Cleanup committee okay? or-
I'm sorry?
It's a cleanup committee, you were looking for cleanup
Cleanup
people, I
Committee,
know.
3 Rivers, and most of the Maloney family has stepped up for that. I've got the list in my office, but assuming you guys got your beans going on?
Yes.
Lise?
Yes.
Your selectmen beans? Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape, but if somebody is interested, the list is in my office, but we really just need people to come and
Yep, come and
eat
enjoy.
beans and be jolly.
Yes. Yep, so, okay. We were charging for that, or we?
Oh, we are charging for that. It's
Oh,
a
is that what-
fundraiser.
What's the price? What's the price?
$8 per person, 6 for seniors and kids.
And a senior is how old?
Oh, my, 65.
I'm getting close to these ages, I wanna
I don't
make sure
know,
I'm getting,
60.
you know,
What is the
Usually
senior
60.
citizen age?
Usually, yeah,
Is it-
usually 65,
Okay,
yeah.
we're gonna go with 60.
60.
At what time? Yeah, bring
Yeah,
it,
thanks.
bring your
I'm going.
identification, it's a fundraiser, so if you're gonna argue over $2,
Sounds good.
you can,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no IDs.
sir.
We're not serving any alcohol, so.
I'm not
No.
going, oh, sorry, just kidding.
So, nope, that sounds good, yeah. As many people can come, the last one we did here, we filled the hall and.
Yes, and we have lots of nice raffle items,
Yes.
if you haven't seen our sheepskin that are on display out there, but we've got,
Those
some
tickets
beautiful.
are available now?
Those tickets are available now. We have some beautiful jewelry, we have some mushrooms, we have some oils. We've got all kinds of neat items in there.
Okay.
Quilts, paintings.
Sounds good. This Friday night, right here, 4 to 7. Okay. Anything else?
No.
You have anything else?
No, sir.
Do we hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Good. Good night, all.
Good night.